Good morning. This is John Marling, Pulse Research. Let's begin. On behalf of the Pulse team, I'd like to welcome you, the managers of Metroland, to an exciting webinar this morning that'll focus on the new research along with some of the new features in your ad seller program. We really appreciate the opportunity to work with you. And the reason is you guys deliver. It's fantastic, the results that you've gotten over the last roughly 15 months since you launched the ad seller program. Let's celebrate together. Look at that, $73.5 million in sales since we launched the program back in September of 2015. 73 weeks, you have done over $1 million per week. Congratulations. I mean, that is absolutely awesome. You have sold 16,552 presentations with a close ratio of 48%. And in the last 3 months, a close ratio of 53%. An average sale of $4,391. I mean, just congratulations on an awesome job. Comparing that, to our average of clients around North America, the average close ratio is 47%, so you're much better than that. And your average sale is significantly higher. Congratulations. What an incredible achievement. Let's talk a little bit more about what we're going to cover today. First of all, we're going to cover the new shopping research, an update of your core base shopping information of the Metroland audience, covering over 600 business categories, thousands of products and services, and also competitive media such as Facebook, Kijiji, and others. Then we'll talk a little bit about and give you a tour of some of the new features in the ad seller program. The Pulse team is constantly committed to bringing to you solutions, ideas, innovation to be more effective and to help your team quicker, faster in creating and presenting. Also share with you some of the best practices from our clients across North America, some specific suggestions for 2017, and then Peter Lamb's goals, for Metroland for 2017. So let's begin. The research not only updates the basis of what you have, but over the last year or so, you've been making suggestions to Kathy Nicholson about things to add when we updated the research. So all the information that you've asked for over the last year or so has now been added and is in the new research. Covering child-related business types, we've added business-to-business services, donate to a charity, motorsports business types, and also additional social media. So all your suggestions have now been added, and the research has been completed, and it's live and ready to go as of this morning. Let's go into a little more details upon the methodology. First of all, the research is of Metroland's audience, of your print and your digital audience. This is not a market survey by intent. This is a survey of your audience, asking them the same questions the businesses would ask if they had the opportunity to do a survey of your audience. In other words, a furniture store, if they had the opportunity to do a survey of Metroland's audience, would ask, are you going to shop at a furniture store, right? And what are you going to buy for your home? Living room furniture, bedroom furniture, dining room furniture, appliances, etc. That's the cool part about this research is it's about and for the businesses. Now, the survey was done online. You ran invitation ads in your paper and online promotion. And the reason we didn't do a phone survey, by the way, is if you got a call tonight, hi, I'm John Marling, Pulse Research. Do you have about 45 minutes to take the survey? Of course you wouldn't. So we give your audience the convenience to do the survey online. And the survey focused on three primary areas. Number one is the business type. Medical business types, real estate business types, automotive business types, healthcare, retail, restaurant business types. We've got it covered for you. Not only is it an update of your current research, so it's fresh, but also, once again, we've added significant areas of information that you've requested. The second part to the research covers products and services. And the third part, as I mentioned before, is covering social media. Why? So your team are able to show those businesses what they're missing if they're not also advertising with Metroland on a consistent basis. In other words, when a business says, well, I'm on Facebook or I use Google search, I don't need the local community paper. Now you can show them what they're missing and what the opportunity is for a consistent campaign with Metroland. Look at that. We've got over 3,300 samples. Putting that in comparison to a national Canadian survey, the sample is roughly 1,000 to 1,200 for Canada. Right in the area covered by Metroland, we have over 3,300 samples. In addition to that, you have information on a local basis for each one of your zones. So it's broken into 10 specific zones. So each one of your regions has statistically valid local information about and for your audience, Metroland, in your digital products for Hamilton, Halton, Peel, London, the Toronto area, Oshawa, Durham, and for your corporate group. So the beauty of that is that the information is reflective, projectable, and is a resource for these local businesses to get a insight, a clarity, like a crystal ball into what is going to be happening, what the opportunities are for their individual businesses. The most important thing is nobody has information that is as fresh and is as thorough for these business categories. For instance, for a furniture store, they don't have this information. They love information about and for their businesses. Going a little further now, let's share some good news from the research. Some of the ideas, some of the pearls. Look at that. Look at the ad readership. 72% of your audience always and frequently read the retail stories. Why? Because they're looking for what to buy. 73% read the inserts always or frequently. Those who ran a classified ad in Metroland, look at that. 69% either sold or got many calls off their classified ad. Once again, Facebook, your ad reps hear it all the time. Well, I don't need you. I advertise on Facebook. Look at this. 90% of your audience from the current research said that in the last 30 days, they have not made a purchase from an offer on a business Facebook page. How about that? That's pretty exciting. That's compelling. That shows them that they're missing a huge opportunity by not also advertising in Metroland. A lot of the questions in your news survey focus on getting a new or changing a provider. Yeah, I mean, we can go to a dentist and say, well, 70% are going to use a dentist. Whole hum, right? But look at this. In the research we asked, including dentists, you plan to change or get a new dentist in the next 12 months. Look at 26% of your audience say, yes, we plan to get a new or changed dentist. Now that's compelling. We also added questions relating to business purchasing. Look at this. 5% of your audience, 5% plan to purchase a business vehicle. 18% of your audience either manage or own a business. Another area that you asked to be added to the survey was about donating to a charity. 45% of your audience will donate to a charity in the next 12 months. 73% of your audience have not made a local purchase from a Google search in the last 30 days. So that's some of the highlights of the research. I think you'll agree with me, it's pretty darn exciting. Now let's go into some of the details of the research. This is just to give you an idea of the incredible breadth of the opportunity your sales teams have to connect with business categories. In many cases, they're not advertising in a Metroland publication right now. Just home-related business categories. Look at everything from a paint store, furniture store, tool store, antique store, flooring store, appliance store. huge opportunities. And we'll get into the prospecting program in just a little bit. We've added more functionality and effectiveness to very quickly find business categories for your team, or they can find for themselves the ahas. Oh my gosh, a new business category you never even thought of. Next, taking a look at products, also services, significant increase in the breadth and depth. But once again, this information is all fresh and new. It's a great opportunity starting today for your team to get out there and share this information with the businesses. The businesses want this information. I've made almost 1,500 four-legged sales calls in the last couple of years. Every single time, the businesses say, thank you so much for caring about our business, for sharing information about and for our business that helps me as a business person identify where I can get more business. The next area that we have in the research is the social and online media. This is what they have not used. Look at that. Kijiji, 43% of your audience has not in the last 30 days used Kijiji. 44% have not used a local business website. In real estate, 52% have not used a local MLS site. And in automotive, 45% have not been to a local dealer website. The story here is it's extremely fragmented. Facebook, Google search, email blast, Twitter, Pinterest, on and on and on. It's the fragmentation that provides the information to show them what they're missing. In other words, fear of missing out. It's a huge, huge motivator. Show them what they're missing and you got their attention. Okay? Now let's take a look at the demographics of your audience. Nice age segmentation, 32% under 45, 39% 46 to 60, and 29% over 60. 49% college educated, with over 10% having a postgraduate degree. 63% household incomes over 50,000, with 24% of the households you reach earning over 100,000. And look at this, 77% of your audience own their own home. These are the stories of, how should you say, this is the story, this is the opportunity. Share with them the demographics of your audience. So if they want to reach households that are homeowners because they're selling appliances, boom, 77% of your audience. They want to reach high-income households because they're selling, expensive men's watches. 24% of your households earn over $100,000 a year. Okay? Now let's take a look what's new in AdSeller. One of the main areas that we've made significant enhancements in the last few weeks, the last couple of months, is mobile functionality. What do we mean by that? Well, every single one of your ad reps has a smartphone, and many of them have a tablet. The Pulse team has significantly added to the functionality, usability of the AdSeller program on a mobile device. So in other words, the dashboard where they access and get information, phenomenal ease and ability to get information they want right there with the business. Or in fact, sitting out in the car right in front of the business, they can access and create presentations. The prospecting, they've got a teaser program creating presentations. They can edit presentations. We've made significant enhancements to the account functionality, also the reporting. Here's the big one. They're able now to have direct engagement with the advertiser, and in real time, with information and feedback from the advertiser, find solutions for the business. We'll show you that in just a second. We've also added a prospector program where each week you'll get a weekly email with a new weekly hot business category. And we've also created Pulse example presentations. In other words, we've got quite a bit of expertise and knowledge in what is the information that's going to be most compelling, to a dentist. What's information is going to be most compelling to a furniture store, a restaurant, etc. We're creating example presentations. The teasers, the talking points to immediately engage with the business has been very, very effective. We've also added, and we'll show you here in just a second, major changes to your reporting and goals and status reports. We've also had a lot of functionality to the account program. So let's go live now and take a quick tour of some of the new things we got in the Ad Seller program. Let's first go here and show you what we have for the sales teams and what they can do. So we're going to log in here and show you some of the new functionality. Okay. So one of the things quickly that they can do, and here on the dashboard, is you notice this, when you're making assignments to them, right on their dashboard, in other words, right on their home screen, they have a list of the assignments that you've made for them. They can quickly create a presentation. They can quickly view a teaser. And look at this. This is the talking points. And so it gives them right away the specific things to say. Like in this example here, how would you like to connect with over 9,000 households who are going to spend $11.7 million on dentists? You can also change the teasers, the talking points by the specific publication. Also, in addition to that, they're able to just come over here. They can create a presentation. They got the phone number right there. Everything they want is right on their dashboard. What I wanted to quickly show you here on the example of the prospecting is how quickly they can identify new prospective businesses. In other words, business categories that they can create a presentation. So right here, the information for the business categories is lined out by the close ratio, the average sale, and the sold rank. So they can organize the business categories by the highest close ratio, the highest average sale, and the highest average sold rank. Now these are in real-time actual results from our clients across North America. Now what I'd like to do is show you on a mobile device. Let me hop over here. On a mobile device. Now I've logged in as an ad rep in the Hamilton area to show you in real time the functionality that your team now has starting today with the new fresh research. So when you make an assignment to an ad rep, it'll show up right on their screen. And this is an example of what it looks like for them on a iPhone, a iPhone 6 in this case. So you made an assignment to them. Look at this, right on their phone. They can click, they can view a teaser. So they could be sitting out in the parking lot and click on teaser, and up comes the talking points. So for Bombay and Company, you've got over 668,000 households you reach. You're going to spend over $752 million at a furniture store. And they can change the talking point right there on their smartphone. So if they're going to make a presentation for the Spectator, they just click on the Spectator, and now you've got the talking points. Almost 21,000 households are reached by the Spectator who are going to spend over $23 million at furniture stores. I had an ad rep tell me the other day, this is great. And they were a new ad rep, by the way. And what they said is this gives me what to say after I say hello. And many of you have got new members on your team. This teaser program gives them the confidence and gets them the words to say to connect immediately with the businesses. Okay, so they're on front of the store. They can click and they can look at a teaser. They can also create presentations in real time right on their smartphone. Okay, so they just click on create presentation. What I want to show you is how they can do a presentation in real time with the business. So they're there with the business on a tablet or on their smartphone. They click and they click on view mobile presentation. So watch this. Okay? So they've talked, they're at a dental center, and they say to them, I got great news. We just did a comprehensive survey and asked the same questions you would ask about dental needs. And the whole purpose of the research is to help you identify where you can get additional business and customers. How'd you like to take a look at the dental information? Of course, they're going to say yes. So they just click yes on their phone, and look at that. 24% of our audience plan to start or change a dentist. What does that mean for you? An opportunity? That means there's going to be over 108,000 households reached by the spectator who are going to either start or change a dental office in the next 12 months. That's got their attention. Now, what does that mean for you? An opportunity? That's almost 26,000 households. Remember, we're doing this with the business. Would you agree with me that we've got their attention now? Boy, absolutely. Why? Because 26,000 households who are going to start or change a dentist is very compelling, very, very motivating, because that's new business. Or they fear they might be losing some of their own clients, right? Now let's talk about opportunity. Pulse estimates that the average household over a 12-month period for that household will spend about $1,600 at a dentist. That means that there's over $42 million reached by the spectators' audience that are going to change or get a new dentist in the next 12 months. 10% of that would be $4.2 million. Now look at this, what we've added to the program. The ability in real time with a business to get their input and change. So they can change in real time the audience. So the person says, well, I want to focus right in on the Glenbrook area. Boom, you got the information for the Glenbrook area. Or if they say, I think I can get a 5% share. Look at this. In real time, you can get their input and say, and that's right there just in Glenbrook. It's over $138,000, just a 5% share of the opportunity. Now you're engaging with a business. It's becoming much more compelling because they're involved in the presentation. Then I would say to the business, let's take a look at the specific dental services and identify from the current research that we just completed a couple of weeks ago on the current demand for dental services. And the purpose of this is to help you identify where you can get more. You know what you did in 2016 in dental services. This is what's going to be bought, what the needs are in 2017. And you click, and there it is. Dental checkups, over 5,700. Cavity filling, 1,800. Teeth cleaning, over 5,300. Ask the business, challenge the business. You know what you've done. Where do you think you can get more? And they go, oh my gosh, look at that. Cavity fillings, I only did about 20 a month. It's 240. Wow, 1,800, I can get more. Look at all the dental checkups, almost 5,800 dental checkups. Okay, so you're getting them engaged. You're identifying specific new opportunities for them. They are extremely interested in information about and for their business. Now look at this. Click on the editing button, and now you can add more information. What if the business says, well, I would like to get information on dental implants? Boom, you've got it right here. Now in real time with the business, you're able to access the information and get them right there on the spot additional information on categories they're interested in. No other media representative in the Toronto area can do this. Interactive, real time, with fresh information about and for their business. Now you've got the attention of the business. You're finding solutions for them. And so in this case here, the gentleman says, boy, I can get more cavity filling. Great. Let's talk about what we can do to help you. They said, well, I'm on Facebook, etc. I don't need you. Look at this. We can talk to them once again about the specific fragmentation. Look at this. 40% of our audience have not responded to a Facebook offer. So if you put that cavity filling, post on your Facebook page, you're missing 94% of our audience. If you use your own local business website alone, you're missing 43% in the last 30 days of our audience. Google search, you're missing 76%. Now if the business says, well, what do you have in information about Twitter? All you have to do is just in real time click, and you can add media. Okay, so you just click here on digital media, or you can do a search. You come down here, boom, you can add Twitter. They love this. Well, what about Kijiji? Add that, okay? It gives them the ability with you And you are now a pure consultant. Why? Because you're able to address and get information about and for their business. Now we're creating an opportunity report for them. So what if they say, well, I'm not really interested in, local business email? You can delete that in real time. Okay. So now let's go further. Now at this point, you've got their attention. They've already told you the feedback is I can get more cavity filling. At this point, I would suggest to them and show them what you have in terms of a package, a consistent program for them. Talk about how many ROP ads they're going to have, how many impressions they're going to have, on your digital offerings, etc. Get their attention, get their excitement on a consistent 52-week program. They're going to love that. Why? Because every business wants to be consistent. But they're going to think, well, it probably costs too much. Then you click and say, look at this. All you would need would just be 65 new customers out of the 25, almost 26,000 households we reach. Just 65. You think that is realistic? And once again, repeat the consistency, the repetition in print ads, in digital impressions, etc. And ask them point blank, do you think you're going to get at least 65 new customers? If they say yes, you just made a sale. They say, well, how'd you get that? Look at this. You just click on your iPhone and you go over the details of the campaign. The campaign is 52,000 for 52 weeks. You told me that your average customer is worth around 1,600. We're estimating a 50% gross profit. That means that dividing 812 and a 52,000, all you need is 65. But look at the beauty of this is, well, my gross profit, and we've always had, some challenges and issues about gross profit. Now you can get the feedback of the business. They say, well, my gross profit is 35%. Okay, no problem. With their input, 35%. My average customer is $2,500. You're getting their input in real time and calculating out with their information what the break-even point is. Phenomenally effective because they're selling themselves. It's information about and for their business. You can also on the ROI. What do you want in terms of an ROI? Okay, campaign's 52,000. By the way, you can change the number of weeks of the campaign, the total price of the campaign. You are enabled and your team is enabled right now today with fresh information to get the businesses engaged. So back to the ROI. You can change the ROI and say, well, I'd like a $250,000 return. Okay, so you type in 250,000. Look at that. That's a 5-time return. All they need is 100 customers to get the 5-time return. Okay. Now you've got the ability to share with them some information about your audience readership. Remember, we talked about high print ad readership, insert readership. Okay. And then they say, well, I'd like this. Share this. I'd like a printed copy. Great. Let me just email you the presentation. So right from the smartphone, you can send them an email, of the presentation. So that's an overview of the mobile capability of the ad seller program, including the ability to get the information to interact with the direct feedback of the business in real time. I think you'll agree with me. Pretty awesome. Now let's take a look at some of the areas that we've added for you. Okay, so we'll take a look at here, and this is an example. I want to make sure that each one of you are aware that you can set goals in the ad seller program. You just click on add a goal here on your home page, and you can add specific goals for presentations on a weekly basis, on a monthly, quarterly basis. So let's say if you want to have 5 presentations per week, and this is a goal for everybody, you click save. But if you want to set this up as an individual goal, you just click here and select the people and set up the presentation goals on a per person basis. It gives you the effectiveness, the ability to set up specific goals by presentations, by dollars, like you want to generate so much dollars per month in new business. You can set it up in your goals, also in pulse points. Now, what does that mean? That means that in real time, and here's an example here, from your front page, you can see how they're doing. So in this example here, the goal is 52,000, $460 in sales this month. So when you click on your smartphone on the icon, you will see in real time where you stand on each person to your total team goals. You can see how each member is doing. Let's say in this example, their goal is $5,000 per person. You can see how they stand. And once again, this is a demo site here. So you can see, as an example, where they stand. And also in pulse points, where they stand, okay? Or in this case, presentations. Their goal is 2 presentations each week. So once again, you're enabled in real time, and you can access and see this information in your program. Another thing I want to quickly show you here in some of the things that we've done new is in the prospecting tool that they can see specific information relating to the example presentations that we've created, okay? So let's just, oops, good spelling here. So if the ad rep logs in, we got auto repair shop, look at this. They can not only just see a teaser, but look at this. You see the example icon? And remember a moment ago I shared with you that each week you will get an email with a suggested hot business category. We call it prospector. And then you can make assignments for your team for that specific business category. And this week, by the way, hot business category is auto repair shops. Why? Look at this. High close ratio, high average sale, and across the Pulse network, it ranks number 5 auto repair shops in the most sold. And to make it easier and more effective for the ad reps, we've created an example presentation. So when they click on the assignment, and also we're building a library. So you'll notice here, next to each business type, that an example, a Pulse example presentation has been created. There is an example icon. They click on example, and look at this. Up will come a pre-created presentation for them for that business category. And they can edit this presentation and then once again show it in real time. All they have to do is change the business category, the business name, change if they want the distribution. We set the example up to the preferred distribution, and they can change the offering. So that's an overview of some of the new things we have in the program for you. And I think you'll agree with me, one of the most compelling, exciting new features of the program is all of the mobile functionality on a smartphone or a tablet for you in terms of being able to keep on top of in real time, the assignments that you've made, where you stand relative to goals. You can also go in and look and see what your ad reps have done in terms of specific presentations, etc. And from an ad rep standpoint, it is awesome. They can get the talking points right there with the ad rep and, with the business. They can go through the presentation step by step and engage with the business, get direct feedback from them. Now let's talk about some of the best practices. Some of the suggestions from Pulse Research from over 600 clients across North America. Some of the things, the insights I've learned from almost 1,500 four-legged sales calls. Best practice number 1 suggestion for Metroland is every ad rep use ad seller. Even though you've done $73 million, $1 million a week, in a typical month, 40% of your ad reps don't use ad seller. If every single ad rep in a month used ad seller program, that would be $500,000 more per month. That'd be instead of $4 million a month, $4.5 million a month. I'm sure that would be extremely positive. How do I calculate that? You've got 600 ad reps. 40% of those now are using just one presentation, just one, at an average sale of $4,391, and that's your actual sale at an actual close rate of 48%. That's $505,000 in additional business. So best practice number 1 is every ad rep use the program. The mobile program in our opinion, and what we've seen around North America, has been very, very effective in engaging and increasing use of the ad seller program. Best practice number 2 is the teaser program that I showed you. One of our clients suggested 3 teasers by 9 a.m. for each ad rep. So they just go into the teaser program, or excuse me, the prospecting program, just click on teaser and send out 3 teasers by 9 a.m. They can cut and paste the information here and put it in an email. They can cut and paste and put it in a teaser, or they can pick up the phone and just call them. I thought you might be interested to know there's over 3,400 households are going to spend 6.8 million at carpet stores. The feedback we've gotten from clients is this has been very, very effective. I got a call from an ad rep the other day, and she said, "Oh my gosh, within an hour, I got back calls from 2 people who said, 'Come on over, I want to learn more.'" So best practice number 2 is 3 teasers by 9 a.m. Best practice number 3 is find solutions for the business. Like the example we did just a moment ago on the mobile presentation, with the dental business. Challenge the business. It's what they don't know that they should know that is going to be extremely effective in gaining, their, oh my gosh, the insight as to, oh, thank you, I can get more pillow top mattresses. I can get more rugs. Wow, that is the most important thing in the presentation, is working with the business with the fresh information you've got, challenging them. Where can you get more? Here's what's going to be bought. This is the current demand from the research that was just completed for your business category. You know what you've sold. Where can you get more? Challenge them, because when they say, oh my gosh, I can get more rugs, I can get more dental implants, I can get more cruises, etc. Now you provided a solution to them. It's called solution selling, being a real consultant. And by the way, you've now just positioned yourself to provide that solution with a consistent campaign and get them more business. So best practice number 3 is identify where you can get more solutions. Best practice number 4 is the prospecting program, making assignments. And what I'm suggesting here is you can do a sort by buying power, in your prospecting tool. And look at this, you can identify the number of households you reach who are going to buy a specific product or service. So look at right here in this example, there's over 19,000 households who are going to use a car wash. They are interested in car wash advertising, right? So my whole point here is the best practice is go through your prospecting tool, sort by number of households are going to use under the buying power tab, the view for buying power. And that's the demand for advertising information in that category. It's just like in the news department. Community news, high level of demand, right? Let's identify the advertising business categories that have the highest demand and make darn sure we got the advertising information for them. Best practice number 5 is sell consistent contracts. Target those hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of inconsistent advertisers with Metroland. They're doing business with you now. They're running a special section. They're running on Mother's Day. They're maybe running, in the springtime, etc. But they do business all year round. You've got an audience that's buying all year round. Present a 52-week consistent program with blended digital and print. I've shown you a second ago with the mobile presentation how you can get their input and show them how few customers there need. I'm suggesting you start out with small space, but small space on a consistent basis, but you're going to get them results with these small ads. And when I was an ad rep, I started out many businesses in my territory with 1x2s, 1x5s, and they grew very quickly to quarter pages, and one of them within 3 months grew to a full page a week advertiser. So best practice number 5 is consistent contracts. Now let's chat a minute about some pulse suggestions. I just showed you for the dental, and we've asked many questions in your new research focusing on start or change providers. So many of the medical areas, many of the service areas like for legal, And others, we asked about charge, start, or change provider. And in the example that we just went through, I think you would agree it's very compelling, very motivating to share with them how many new opportunities there are. That has urgency. The next suggestion I have is, and I shared you kind of one of the tidbits is 5% of your audience are going to purchase a business vehicle. When you're doing a presentation for business, doing a presentation, let's say for automotive, make sure you include the business purchasing for automotive. You're doing a presentation to realtors, include the business purchasing for real estate. It's very, very compelling. Suggestion number 3 is inside sales teams, your outbound marketing. This information, particularly now in the mobile presentation, is phenomenally effective in a telephone presentation. So strongly encourage you to the inside teams consistently using the teasers along with the mobile presentation. Recommendation number 4 is based upon 34% of your audience will purchase something outside their local area. You've got many publications, many packages. Make sure you're presenting a maximum footprint, if you will. Why? Because the businesses are going to benefit from that because of the purchasing patterns of your audience. 34% are purchasing outside the local area. Suggestion number 5, phenomenally effective, very, very important solution selling. Show the advertiser, challenge them, get their input on where they can get more. And that provides them the aha, the solution. Extremely effective. Couple things coming up very soon with your ad seller program. We'll be launching the phase 2 research. The phase 2 research will focus on, of your audience, they're purchasing at specific stores, like which of the following furniture stores have you shopped at? If you were to buy a new vehicle, which new vehicle dealerships would you go to? If you were to list your home, which realtor would you call? Which is your favorite bank? So information about specific businesses. But also, the survey will include information about specific local competitors. Which of the following radio stations have you listened to? Which of the following print? And so it'll give you, in addition to your current ad seller program, the one page, the ability to show, for instance, if you're doing a furniture presentation, the ability not only show the opportunity for a furniture store, for mattresses and for living room furniture, dining room furniture, for that specific business, what share they have right now, along with what your competitors have. And they say they're advertising on a local radio station, what they're missing by that local competitor. So that survey will be starting in a couple of days, and the information should be ready in a couple of months for you. And we'll do another webinar to show you how to use that information. Digital presentations. We've done the research, and we're in the final steps of setting up the net households reach by print and web or digital only. So you're able to show what the opportunity is with a presentation that includes print and digital, what the opportunity is for that blended package. Or if you're presenting a digital only offering, what the opportunity is in households and in spending. Then in wrap up, Peter Lamb's going to be following up next week, and he told me to share with you 2 things that he's going to be focusing on. Is just one, a minimum by every single ad rep of just 1 presentation per week per ad rep. I showed you a second ago that on the average month, typical month, 40% of your team in an average month have not used ad seller. If they did, that would be an additional $500,000 per month. Peter's going to be talking more about that when he's there with you. The other thing that Peter's going to be focusing on is there's a significant number of presentations that we haven't got a decision on yet. Let's go back to those and get a yes or even a no. Let's get a decision from them. So in closing, I want to thank you on behalf of the Pulse team for the opportunity to work with you. We are very, very, very appreciative of the partnership we have and the success that we have jointly delivered. In closing, I want to share with you a new program that we've got coming down the road that Peter's going to share with you that we're thinking about delivering. It's called Dragonfly. And what Dragonfly is taking to the next level, a game changer in being able to interact with the business in real time on a mobile device and find solutions for that business. On behalf of Pulse Research, I want to thank you once again for the opportunity to support your success. Thanks again. If you have any questions, feedback, or suggestions, my email is marling, M-A-R-L-I-N-G, at paper.net. Or if you've got a technical question or suggestion, send an email to support, S-U-P-P-O-R-T, at pulseresearch.com. Thanks again, and great selling with your new research.